Every once in a while, I need a kind of a palate cleanser in terms of reading. And one of the people I go to is regularly is Louis Lamour. I've read all of his books, and now I'm going through them for like the second or third time. So I picked up Riley's Luck. And amazingly to me, when you go on Google and look at what are Louis Lamour's 10 best books, this one doesn't show up. Let me tell you about the book. It's kind of a sprawling story, and Riley, the title character, is really not the main character. The main character is a guy named Valentine Durant. And what happens is that when he's 4 years old, his mother throws him out, really wants him to die out on the plains in the dead of winter. One way or the other, he ends up getting adopted by Will Riley. Will Riley, for his part, is a gambler. And the guy he reminds me of the most, I think, is Paladin from Have Gun Will Travel. He's a super well-dressed, good-looking guy, excellent with a gun, with a bullwhip, and a super card player. What happens is he kind of adopts Val, and the book covers a period of, I guess, maybe 20 years. For the first 10 years or so, Val is being raised by Will Durant, who's teaching him all there is to know about being a gambler, knowing how to fight, knowing how to defend himself, and whatnot. And it goes frankly, all over the world. I mean, a good part of the book takes place in Innsbruck, Austria. Ultimately, Val is able to get revenge on his mother and everybody else who did anybody wrong. And in particular, he's able to get the guys who ambushed Will Riley. Once again, kind of a sprawling sort of Western. I still think it's an excellent book, and it certainly end up somewhere near the top of the list with Louis Lamour books, although there are so many that are so good, it's hard to pick among them. Now, I would say if you feel like you kind of need a break from Joe Biden's America, you could do a lot worse. Picking up a Louis Lamour book and getting a few hours break from it. Really recommend it. Let me move on to my other author, P.D. James. And I think I reported several months ago that I've let P.D. James displace Agatha Christie on my going to bed reading list, books, whatever you would want to call it. This one, A Mind to Murder, is a very good one. It's the second Adam Dalgliesh novel. The first was Cover Her Face. This one takes place in some kind of an outpatient mental clinic someplace in London. And it's got kind of the same formula. It's got, a kind of a limited pool of suspects. There's a murder, of course, in the middle of the whole thing. And the suspects in the case aren't, as it turns out, the patients at this outpatient clinic. It's the doctors and the staff. And as a mystery, it's really good. I mean, I got to the end of it, and I was totally surprised by the ending. Both Adam Dalgliesh and I had gotten it wrong. Now, the thing that I think is distinctive about the book is that because it takes place in a kind of a sort of a mental institution, you've got a lot of psychiatrists who are having, I guess, what you'd call psychiatrist reactions to Adam Dalgliesh, and you get their views on his personality and his character, and it's very interesting. She's really, in this book, really fleshing out Adam Dalgliesh. And of course, he comes across as a very unemotional kind of guy. What you'd have to say is very buttoned up, laser focused on solving murders, even though, as I say, in this case, he got it wrong, and you don't find out till the very end. But he's an interesting guy, and you know, you end up with a puzzle in your mind. You know that he writes poetry, and you're saying to yourself, or I'm saying to myself, where does this come from? He's a totally dedicated, locked in, laser focused cop who somehow or other gets an outlet for poetry. Interesting. Anyway, P.D. James, very interesting, recommend it. So this week I'm recommending two authors. Once again, Louis Lamour, he's always good, and P.D. James. I'm really getting to like her. See you next week.